So, and this is his first time being at an event. So he's a man with heart. He is part of our cult. Absolutely. Absolutely. HSC, what's the C stand for? Cult. Cult. Yeah. But I am so excited to bring on to the stage our mentees. HS Connect has our Empower and Elevate Mentee Program, where we help bring in the next generation of HS advocates. And it is an amazing program. We have met and brought on some amazing people who are doing great work for the community. We got the future. So we are really bringing on a lot of amazing new potential for the HS community. And they are some lovely people that I'm very excited to bring on stage. Hannah, our deputy director, will be hosting our panel. And we have Cassandra, Belinda, Shakira, and Cliff. So come on stage, y'all. We're excited to have you.
Good morning. Andrew honestly couldn't have described this group better. I mean, we have a huge group of amazing mentees, but I think this small group is really going to show an amazing program that we put on. So I have a couple of questions for them today. I'm sorry I can't really look at you guys that much with the mic. But first, I want to ask this question to all of you guys. So I'm going to start with Cliff. Tell me one word to describe how you felt about your HS before you found community, and one word to describe after finding community.
Isolated, loved, and welcomed.
We just go.
You can go. Yeah.
Okay. Hideous, and I have more than one word, but I put hot, beautiful, adored, loved, and seen.
As you should, yes.
I will say I felt destroyed, and then today I'm very strong and empowered.
Pass it down to.
Hi. So for me, before I'd say alone, and then now, family.
I think so many people could really relate to a lot of those words, honestly. And I love that for most of you guys had more than one word to describe of how you feel after, because I mean, I think so many people could relate to that. Okay, the next question. I'm gonna ask this question to Belinda and Clifton. What made you want to join the Mentee Program?
To be an advocate, a better advocate, as well as to be an informed patient.
I have spent so long depriving myself of opportunities, so when I saw it pop up, I felt like something just took over, and I just, I almost couldn't process it until I was doing it, and I just feel so, it just felt so right, and I knew that I wanted to be a better advocate and to learn more and to help out the community in a way that I had not allowed myself to do before, so.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanna know Shakira and Cassandra's reason why they joined too, so can you guys also tell me?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with my experience, I've always been very close to, HS Connect and their crew, and I always found myself saying, I know that I'm family, but I just can't get over them. Like, I just want so much more. So when I was offered the opportunity, I definitely, as Clifton said, I just wanted to become a better advocate, and I knew that HS Connect was gonna help me get there, and was also gonna continue to help me have many opportunities to showcase what a true advocate can offer, and what are the things that we deserve. That's most important. She always puts up a fight for us, so I wanna show her that the show must continue, and I'm fighting right along with her.
And the person who's putting the fight up is Brindley.
Yes.
If you already didn't know that.
Well, like Shakira, I also really have been following HS Connect for a long time, and I really started doing things last year because I had a senior project for my high school senior project with my dermatologist, and she really recommended that I start making videos, especially on the teen side, and so I knew that being a mentee, I could have such a lasting impact on all the teens and young people with HS, and I hope that we can start building our confidence and really feeling like we can speak out and have that family, because it can be really isolating when you're young, or like no matter what age you are. So that's why I joined.
Well, and Cassandra here runs our teen support group that meets once a month right here. I feel like that alone has changed, and I love all the reasons why you guys joined, and I'm so glad you guys are all here, which kind of leads me into my next question about the program. I'm going to ask Shakira and Belinda this. Do you guys feel that the program has provided you the education and the experience to help you be a better advocate and an informed patient?
Yes, definitely. Not only having our mentee meetings and being able to speak to our mentor, which we do have assigned, that's on a private scale, so it's definitely more sufficient, being able to talk about strategies, being able to learn about different terms with HS, making sure that we're properly getting the word out there, making sure my definitions are correct, just being able to have that one-on-one space. And then again, when we're all together, we're getting true insight. It's literally like class for an hour. You know, we're getting hot topics, we're getting ways in 60 seconds to be able to say something, we're learning tips and tricks, we're getting like our slideshows, they're actually poured into a way where you can be able to go back now, study these terminologies, study this kind of lesson, and then go and perform on a social media base or perform in front of anyone, feeling that confident advocate, you know? So just being able, as Clifton said, being able to have that power to be able to have that definition or know just a little bit more than what we already know as experts, it helps a lot to be able to make sure that you feel more confident to get that point across, especially living with hidradenitis suppurativa.
I love that. Belinda?
Yes, 100% yes. Being able to learn from the crew, and then I call you guys the Big Four, the HS Big Four. So learning from you guys and getting expert, PowerPoints and talks, and being able to talk to our mentors and even just talk to each other. Social media is so edited, and we do learn a lot from it, but really getting in there and learning the complexities on a scientific level and a factual level is very important, and it's really opened up a whole new world of advocacy for me, and it's made me, just the way I'm talking to people now about it is just a lot smoother than I would have in the past.
I can say I've joined a couple of the Mentee monthly meetings, and you guys are honestly so cute. We all call you guys like our little love muffins, and you guys just, the way that you guys just have such a great time, you guys feel your feels in that group. You guys are so real and so raw. Yes, and the group chat. We have this little WhatsApp group chat, and after their meetings, they'll talk about things that they recommend, and sometimes it's not even HS related things. It's a book or it's other things, and that group chat is popping. Sometimes I have to mute my notifications because my phone is like going crazy, but these guys have found a community within themselves, and they've all related on this same program that they're all going through, and to see all you guys grow, it's truly amazing. You guys are awesome.
Thank you to you.
Thank you. And to all these amazing people.
Yes.
Okay, for this next question, I'm going to ask Cassandra and Clifton for this. So what is the most important thing you've learned being a part of the Mentee program? Cassandra, you want to start?
Sure. I think the most important thing that I've learned is how to talk about HS. I think, of course, there's like community, which I like. The community is always at the heart of it, though I didn't really know how to talk about HS. And there was one particular session that we had where we were like, we had this quiz, this I think 20 question quiz where we went through all the myths and things surrounding HS. And there were things that I didn't even know, like that it affect anywhere on the body with hair, except for the palms and soles, and that it was like little things, like how people said it was chronic boils, and then it's not, and it's like boil-like abscesses. But I think the terminology is really important because we often get so many mixed messages on how to talk about our chronic illness, and then especially when you're doing online advocacy, it's really important to get correct messages across. And so for me, I think learning that with other people and preparing us to give that correct information to others and making us reliable resources has been really important to me.
Well, and I feel like learning that correct information gives you the confidence too, to be like, nobody can tell me nothing. I know everything. I am the myth buster out here. Nothing.
Exactly. I had a war with TikTok because I made a video saying that HS wasn't chronic boils, and then I got my video shut down like 3 times because they were like, you're spreading false information, and I went, yes, well, I actually have the condition, so there's that.
Clifton?
I would say probably the most important thing that I've learned is truthful information. Being truthful, making sure, debunking myths, because you will find that there is a lot of misinformation out there about HS. And so, like I said, I think first and foremost is to make sure as an advocate that you are giving truthful, accurate information, and also being clear and concise. Being clear and concise with your audience and being honest.
I love that. That's one thing I can say with HS Connect, not just because I work here, but that we have trusted resources. I mean, that's why we tell the physicians to bring their patients here, because we have correct information. And so it's so good to know that we're leveling all these amazing people up to go out into the world and to have the correct information out there. You guys, I'm so proud of all of you guys. Okay, I want to ask all of you this. So whoever wants to start can start. How has this program helped with your confidence?
Oh, I can start. It's really boosted my confidence. I keep bringing this theme up, but family is really important to me. I was adopted as a teenager. I spent a lot of my life in the foster care system, and family has always been a tough concept for me. When I was adopted by my family now, they did fight for me a lot to get a proper diagnosis, but they never really understood what it was like having HS. And I never really had anyone around me that understood, deeply understood. And so I think being in this program and then getting to meet so many amazing people and getting to be a part of the HS Connect community has given me that family that really understands. And it's like, again, I said it yesterday, but I feel like I've been adopted again, kind of. And it's really true because, found family, I'd say, is just as important as any blood connection that you can have. And that's why I'm really grateful. I don't even know what the original question was at this point, but I just needed to talk about that. So that's what my answer.
I'm already tearing up, but I could definitely agree with her. I feel like we all have our own independent struggles, and I come from a place where I don't know if I ever felt the correct type of love. I feel like I knew always what not to be from a family perspective, and then I tried to be the best person and break those traditional curses and show my mom or show my parents that you could thrive in any situation. I'm kind of like don't let it tear you down. There's something always there's a will, there's a way. But some people just can't grasp that. And I felt like after losing my brother in 2024, literally only having one sibling, all I could ever ask for was family. And I've learned I could create my own family. I could feel love. And that's what HS Connect has given me back. It has given me an opportunity to know that I'm in the correct space at the correct time and that I'm actually not missing anything. And then when I look at you guys, I truly have everything that I need or that was taken away from me. So not only does HS Connect give you an opportunity to be the best advocate, it gives you an opportunity to shine individually and be the best version of yourself.
I think we just need a round of applause just for these two. You guys have already you guys have already have everybody all crying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read mine because I will start crying. But unfortunately, yes, you guys are gonna start getting real sick of me. My confidence has boosted insanely. It's very crazy. I feel like I have been living in a very deep cycle of self-deprecation and anxiety and just a lot of very deep self-loathing for many, many years. And being immersed in this program
with so many people showing their just true, authentic selves has allowed me to find myself again. And being here and seeing everyone thrive. And I've never, ever put that kind of positivity on myself. And I feel like I've truly found myself here. And being able to just be honest and say, wow, I'm going to be really flared tomorrow, and have people laugh with me and it not be, you know, such a serious thing is truly incredible. And I feel like I found some real sisterhood that I have been lacking for a very long time. So I'm just very grateful for you guys. And yes, confidence through the roof. I feel great, and Empower has truly empowered me in a way that I didn't think was going to be possible. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Belinda is unstoppable now. Here Belinda comes.
Okay, so what has it done for confidence? I'll say this, who remembers or heard the phrase, Stella got her groove back?
Yeah.
Got his groove back.
Yeah.
For so long, it resonates very well. You know, the isolation, the embarrassment, the humiliation that comes with HS. I mean, I was alone for so long. I mean, I have family and have friends who care, but it's very different when you find family who cares, the people who really get it. And the Mentee program has just been exactly what I needed to get my groove back. I feel like I found my space. I'm very comfortable. You know, a year ago or 2 years ago, would I have shared my story? Would I have shared pictures of my growing area? Absolutely not. But I have the confidence to do that now. Because I'm not ashamed, not embarrassed. Not ashamed, not embarrassed. And the thing is, overall, I keep saying that I do not want other people to feel the way that I felt for so long, because it's unnecessary. Yes. It is unnecessary.
Yes.
Society teaches us one thing, you know, it's like you're embarrassed, you're self-conscious, and it's like my therapist once asked me, did these people butter your bread? Absolutely not. So if you have a stain on a chair, if your clothes become soiled, it is no big deal. It is no big deal. And so again, this Mentee program, Parrish and Joey, I'll just say this, even before the Mentee program, something that I have always lived by is, you know, to be nice, to be kind to people. I reached out to them on social media, and they could have made a conscientious decision to never respond, but they didn't. They made a conscientious decision to respond. They brought me into the brotherhood. Never have I felt more welcome. And so I just feel deeply indebted all the way around to HS Connect. Very thankful for the experience. And like I said, HS Connect helped me get my groove back.
Aww. Yes, Clifton wrote an article on our website, and it was incredible. All of you guys should go and check it out. You know where Christina is. One thing I want to say to all you guys, and just to ask, feeling all of these feelings, doesn't it make you just like want to, I mean, for the virtual people, all the people who are not here, who are not experiencing that, it makes you just want everybody to feel that same feeling.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And kind of, as I was telling Brindley, when you have that feeling, you know, when that feeling comes over you, it feels so great to be in your space, to know that you're loved and you're cared for. And so that is something, you know, that I want everybody, I think everybody is entitled to feel that. Everybody should feel that love, that support, and that care.
And for all those people that think that you can't or you don't know how, I mean, I feel like that's why we put this program together, to help people navigate those I don't know, those hows, those whys, those everything, to build you all up to this. So I know we talked about confidence within ourselves, but how does this, and again, I'm going to ask all you guys because I love hearing all your guys' answers. How has this changed the way that you feel about your HS going through this program?
It has helped me embrace it. I'm proud of it. I am absolutely proud to have HS. So just like some of the shirts that say I low key wish I had HS, I'm proud to have HS. I read a book some time ago that's called The Body Is Not an Apology. And so between The Body Is Not an Apology, the workbook, and HS Connect, you know, I mean, I just embrace it. It's who I am. I touch the scars. You know, it is just a part of who I am, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, as you should. And I love that you say that it's just a part of you, because I think so many people take it as that it's all, it's all of them, but just HS is just a little part of you.
That's right. It's just a little part, even though, I mean, I'll say the disease tried to tear me down. It tried to break me. It tried to break me, and it was almost successful at one point because, you just go through a whirlwind of emotions, and you question your self-worth and everything else. And so ultimately the one thing that I will say is there is a rainbow at the end.
I feel less angry towards myself and my body between the mentee meetings where people are sharing their truths and watching people like Ashley and Parrish and Shakira be just, again, their most authentic self. And I just never thought that I would get there. And the truth is, I feel like I am in real time feeling the change that I have towards my own body. Empower helped a lot, and I was so scared to come, and I was so nervous, and I haven't been giving myself the tools or the grace. And it's like, how can I be upset at my body for being sick when it's not my fault? And I just feel it in real time. I can feel the shift happening, and I'm excited.
I love that.
The way I kind of feel about my HS today is it's literally my purpose. I know sometimes it's hard for us to like forgive and forget, but like I said, in my heart, I feel like I kind of renewed it with my HS, and it gave me an opportunity to love, to even just be an HS person. Like, yesterday in the cab drive, I'm just like, hey, do you know what hydronitis suppurativa is? Like, I'm just so inspiring. It's literally my purpose. I won't stop talking about it. I'm obsessed with it. It's literally who I am. And the only reason why I say I'm obsessed with it is because I'm obsessed with you guys. Like, all my girls supported me in the Uber car drive, saying, just talking about it, supporting me. Like, we're all patients, like, just chiming in. It's just gives me so much happiness, because it's like, it's always a safe place with you guys. And that's what my HS gave me back. It gave me my safe place. It gave me, again, my family, my community, and it gave me purpose to know that I'm worth it.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I'd say, like Shakira, it's really given me a purpose, and also it's made me feel like I can be loved unconditionally. Like, when my first HS memory that I'd say I had was when the night that my adoptive family came to pick me up from the agency. We went to the Cheesecake Factory, and I was itching. It was so bad. I was crying. I was shifting uncomfortably. It felt like, this was when they still misdiagnosed me with herpes, so it was kind of like a lot. And the first thing that they did was they stole a napkin from the Cheesecake Factory so I could have something. And they fought continuously every time I needed to get lanced or whatever, every time I was waking up screaming in the middle of the night, and then encouraging me to keep going forward. And then when I met Brinley and the others, they started encouraging me. Like, they had, again, I was like their little babies. So it was like,
You still are.
It taught me that I can be loved, and I can accept the love and really feel the love, because it's always been difficult for me to really feel like I am loved and I'm worth it. Because for so long I felt disposable, like I was someone that could just get shifted off to another home, or just, I guess, dropped at the, I don't know, just dropped. So I think this HS Connect family, and also what I've gotten from my adoptive family, both of them has really taught me that I can be loved no matter who I am and no matter like what I look like or do.
We love you, Cassandra. Like, we love Cassandra. You're stuck. Yeah, like we said, HS Gold. Well, I think I have one more question, but I think you guys have completely described so much of how this program, what it has brought to you, how it has uplifted you guys from where you were before and where you are now. And I honestly can't wait to see you guys even grow even more, because this is only the start. This is only the start of how they're feeling. And just waiting as they level up and they continue to grow, I mean, they're gonna be all amazing. My last question is, and this is for, the future mentees. These people are going to be graduating and kind of coming up to the big dogs. So, with that being said, we're looking for new mentees. We're looking for the new people that are going to be here. And so what advice would you guys give to those who are considering to go through the program?
Oh, I'm going to start. Okay. I have a message specifically for my young people, and I have a message then for anyone, which actually, you know what? Okay, I'm formulating how I'm going to tackle this. So for my young people over there in my team group, do it. All of you do it. Okay, you don't have to do it, but
but please
I
do.
would highly recommend it because you guys are my inspiration, and if you're young and watching at home, all of you are inspirations. We have so much more power than people give us credit for, because oftentimes it feels like when you're young, you go what can I do? No one's gonna take me seriously. But then in this setting, when I've always been taken seriously. My story has been people have treated me like my advice or my experience meant something, and that can be so healing. And so if you ever want to do more, if you ever feel like you want to give back to other people or just have that community, and just do it, because you all have such an amazing story. You guys deserve to be taken seriously. And my message for anyone is, it doesn't matter how young you are, and it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you feel oh, I've been living with this for so long, what can I do? Or do I have anything interesting to add? You can. You have such an amazing potential. And even just sharing your story, I shared that I had HS, and I found 2 people at my college that have HS too. And it's you don't know how many people that you walk around with every day that might have the thing that you're going through. You don't understand, it's so prevalent, but we just don't speak about it, or we just don't feel like we can. And you don't have to be online all the time. You don't have to be snapping photos or taking videos or doing that. Advocacy comes in so many different amazing forms. And so I'd say just please feel like you're worth it and your story is worth it, and that people will take you seriously, because you have the expertise as the patient and you mean so much. So just go for it.
Lots of good points.
I remember in February of 2024, the first time I was able to share my story, someone very important to me in the crowd asked me when I was on stage, if there's something that I can give you, or if there's something that you want to do after the experience, what would it be? And I told her, I want to continue to share my story so I could be able to help another warrior that's just like me. So my advice to all of you is that I am your warrior, and I want to give you the chance to become an advocate just like me. We deserve it. I strive for you guys. I thrive with you guys, and there's nothing that we're unable to do. We are capable, we are loved, we are heard, and we are finally being seen. So please take this opportunity to join the next Mentee program and understand that we need you as much as you need us. And we're waiting.
Yes.
I came into this program not ready to be in this program. I had no confidence. I did it because I was having a very hard year,
And I thought, it cannot be that hard. And you know what? It is a lot of internal work. And I think that is my advice, to be ready. And I have severe stage 3 HS. So I live in a very deep-rooted place of anxiety and depression because of that. And I was not ready to do the work at first. And it felt like a lot when I got into it, seeing so many different people. And I found people like me, but there are also people in remission, and you're meeting people with all the different stages. And for me personally, it felt like maybe I don't belong in this group yet. Maybe I'm not there. Maybe I haven't found the treatment that's right. But I don't think there's a right time to ever do this. There are people that are coming up to me saying, I have flares where you have flares, and things that I just would never thought that I would hear. And it's been an incredible journey, and it took me a little bit to find my footing, but I feel like I have found it. And it's really beautiful here, and I'm so happy that I made it. So just be ready to look inward and do the work, and be happy to be here, and put yourself out there. You have to.
I'm so happy you're here.
And I would say the same thing, if you're interested, do it, do it, do it. And, HS Connect is a wonderful, wonderful program. So your confidence, because originally, when I joined and, realized that there was going to be work, it's like, am I going to be able to have the time to do this? But then you start thinking, this is for you as well as other people, the community. So the work is just a small part of it. It's a small part of it, but you have all the love and support that you can ever imagine. And there's something else. There's a correlation between HS and a story that I read some years ago. This was about captive elephants, right, that were used in a circus, and they would put a piece of rope around the elephant's foot, and the elephant knew that it was confined at that point. So when the elephant was released from the circus, if it still had the rope around its foot, it thought it was still captive. And so HS is very much the same way. And so it had me that way. It held me captive. It held me captive for so long. And because of HS Connect and the wonderful people, I am free. I am absolutely free. And so again, if you're thinking of the Mentee Program, go for it. If you're ready to work, if you're ready to learn, and if you want to set yourself free, go for it.
I just want to say, I think you guys couldn't have explained any of these questions better, or the program, or anything. I'm so glad that all of you guys went through it, and all the other people that are in it too that aren't on this stage. There's so many people, and I think that they described this perfectly, and I'm so proud of all of you guys. I can't wait for you guys to graduate and move up. And for all the people that are watching virtually too, or just that are out there too, just to know, to be part of the Mentee Program or to be an advocate, it doesn't mean that you need to be online or you need to be doing all of these things. We help these people in so many different ways of how to boost that up and how to be an amazing advocate. And the applications are open for the Mentee Program, and our link is in our bio if anybody wants to apply. On Instagram, HS Connect. Third one down, the link.
Go apply.
Go apply. Come on. Look at this. How do you not want to be a part of this? And how do you not want to feel like this? So thank you guys so much, and I'm so proud of all of you guys.
me be here.
All right, friends. So, if you guys, I know everyone drank a lot of coffee, a lot of water. I don't know about you, but I gotta pee. So maybe a quick potty break, and we'll meet back here in like 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to the nutrition talk with me. How fun! So, potty break, and see you back in 5 to 10. Okay, we're ready to go. Live stream is up. Thank you for your patience, everybody. All right, so I'm Christina. I've been annoying you all the last 3 days. I'm the CEO of HS Connect, but I am also, again, an HS warrior, but a nutritionist. And so today I want to talk about nutrition for managing hidradenitis suppurativa and inflammation, but we're not going to go into specific like diets or anything because there is no one diet to manage HS. I wish it was that simple. I could be like A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, do this. It's not. But I do want to talk about the mindset shifts that sometimes we need to take to make these changes, and also just a little bit of the science of like HS is inflammatory, how nutrition impacts inflammation. So I've had HS since I was 12 years old. I'm 40 now. I was able to put it in remission through nutrition almost 9 years ago, which is crazy to me because when I first endeavored to do this, I was just desperate. I was 2 years postpartum and my HS got worse than ever. I started getting it under my boobs, which I had never had it under my boobs. Like my groin area was my stage 3. I had like stage 1 under my arms. And that was it. I had the occasional like thing on my back. I think like one on my head when I was younger. You know how it is. It just shows up wherever. But then I was nursing my son and I got it under my boobs. And that was, I don't know, I felt like, not my boobs too. Like leave me one area of my body that I still like. So I don't know, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm like, I have to do something. But again, this was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we had 0 options. We did not have we didn't have the treatment options that we have available now, and there wasn't even the knowledge to do the surgeries correctly, if you remember Dr. Goldberg's presentation from yesterday. So at that juncture, I was like, I didn't like the options presented to me by my doctor. So I said, give me 6 months, I'm gonna do like an overhaul, and I'll be back if I need help. And 4 months into an elimination diet, I was like, okay, I'm still flaring, but I'm a lot better. So I kept going, I reintroduced some foods, and it was a 2-year process. And the goal, I didn't even know remission was possible. The goal was just to feel better. But I got to the point where eventually I'm like, oh man, it's been a few months, it's been 6 months. Oh my God, it's been a year. And I wasn't having new flares, old flares healed, all that jazz. So just to say, the nutrition for HS, that's changed my life in a way that I can never, a lot like Dati yesterday mentioned the autoimmune protocol. Her and I know each other from that online wellness space from a decade ago. And it really did change my life, and it's how I started my advocacy journey. Sharing that online through my food blog and my recipes, I found other people with HS. So it wasn't just the journey of the food, but that it led me to a community. And as we know from the last 3 days, that changes everything, right? Next slide, please. This talk is made possible by Avalo Therapeutics. They were really, really nice to give us a donation, which helped buy snacks, which we will have snacks after this, and I will talk about that later. So thank you, Avalo. Next slide, please. And then we have Inflammation Nation coaching. So this is under our support group umbrella. Once a month through HS Connect, yours truly runs an online support group. It's totally free, and it's essentially come on in. We talk about a different topic. We've done, blood sugar regulation, gut health, meal prep. Last time we talked a lot about meal prep. I share a lot of recipes because as a chef, I'm someone that I know that knowing what to eat is one thing, but actually doing it is another, and making sure that it tastes good. So I promise you my recipes are banging. So whether I've made them myself or they're either mine that I wrote or I've made them, I vet the recipes and they're good. And so we were gonna do again outside, but we'll just do it in here because there's not enough seating for us to all sit together. So we'll do a Q&A after here, which is kind of like how our support groups are. So you can find the link to sign up for Inflammation Nation on the communities page of hsconnect.org. Next slide, please. Okay, so is nutrition to manage inflammation all about elimination diets? It seems that way, right? When you're online. And it seems like everyone's talking about, well, I went carnivore, or I went vegan, or I removed all this. And it's not all about diets and restriction. It's about understanding your body. And we learned so much the last 3 days, right? From the different doctors presenting, learning about inflammation and learning about healing and genetics and how it's all connected. And even Dr. Barr, right? The way she talked about how stress impacts, your flares, and nutrition is in that vein too. It also impacts the overall inflammation. So, eating healthy, you don't have to be eating really boring salads. They don't look very happy. You can eat food that you still enjoy. And one of my tenets is that it's better to start by adding in nutrient-dense foods versus removing foods, right? So before you're out I'm gonna cut out food groups, maybe drink more water. Maybe add in more diversity with your fruits and vegetables. Maybe focus on a little more protein. Think about what you're adding to your plate versus what you're omitting. You're gonna hear me talk a lot about omega-3s later. Most Americans do not eat enough seafood. Omega-3 is something which is really big in managing inflammation and adding more fish to your diet. So those kind of things are really important. And again, think about what you can add in versus what you can remove. All right, next slide, please. So, I always like to start with the nice, the balance, but nothing changes if nothing changes. That's another thing that it's just the truth. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. When it comes to nutrition and changing what you eat or the way you eat or the way you live or the way you manage your stress, there is a habit change involved. If you don't change your habits, their result will not change either. And this applies again to everything. So if you want a different outcome, you have to make different choices. And that can be hard. It can be hard when you're used to, reaching for candy all the time, or you're used to just eating certain foods. A lot of people love a food that may trigger their HS, whether it's peanut butter or hot sauce or, or cheese. And that can be really difficult, right? When you have this habit, but that's a choice that you have to make, and no one can make that choice for you. And if you decide to I still want to eat it, even though I know it makes me flare, that is fine. That's a choice that you make. You're a grown-up. You're allowed to do whatever you want. That's the cool thing about when you grow up. But yeah, if you want to make changes, if you want to see different changes, even if think about starting a treatment option, which sometimes it gets scary, right? You get paralyzed and well, if I don't do anything, I know what my life is like now, even if I'm flaring all the time. But if I start a new treatment or start a nutrition plan or do something different, I get hopeful that it might change the outcome, and what if it doesn't? So I get that it can be mentally overwhelming and there can be an anxiety attached to change, but you go baby steps. It doesn't have to be overnight. Little things can add up and lead to significant change, meaningful change in your life and in your pain level. Next slide, please. So nothing with HS is simple, right? As we know, as we've learned, not medical treatment, not pain management, not figuring out what works. There's a lot of trial and error involved. Nutrition is no different. And whether you just want to take on nutrition as complementary tool to your medical treatment, which I recommend that everybody do. If you're getting surgery, if you're starting a biologic, if your medication is working to lower your inflammation, your lifestyle should complement that as well. If you're having surgery, what you eat post-surgery you can do so much to help, heal faster and better. So, but you have to give things time. People say, well, I've done this for 3 weeks, for 2 weeks, for a month, for 2 months. And I get it. That seems like an eternity when you're making an effort. But if you were on a new medication, how long would you give it before you gave up? Probably longer than that, right? And we talked to the doctors, even 6 months, even a year sometimes. Guess what? Nutrition is the same. It's not gonna help overnight. It takes time to see a difference. So I just say and if you try the first type of thing and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean, it doesn't work. It just means, then let's figure out what does. And the same thing applies to your medical treatment. Sometimes you have to try a few things before you find what works. So I just say give nutrition the same grace that you give medical treatment when you're thinking about going down that endeavor of nutrition to support HS. Next slide, please. Okay. Mindset, it's the most difficult part of making changes because motivation is not enough. It requires discipline. This is where I get into my tough love speech. But it's true. There's a certain amount of discipline because motivation isn't gonna get you to go on a walk every day or drink more water or add more salad to your plate. It's discipline. Some days I don't want to go for a walk. Some days I don't want to eat vegetables. I want tater tots, And the thing is, I will still have tater tots, but with my vegetables. So you find that balance, right? You find what works for you. I love chicken tenders. I truly do. I eat gluten-free chicken tenders, but I'll eat my gluten-free chicken tenders with broccoli or over salad. I love a chicken tender salad. Don't sleep on those. They're really good. with like a homemade honey mustard sauce. Guys, I'm telling you, it's something. So you have to find that balance where I'm not gonna give up the foods that I love, but I know that if I have the chicken tenders with the tater tots and no fiber in there, that's not gonna make me feel great. You know, so you compromise, right? Like everything in life. You find your limits. So for example, dairy and I can have dairy like one day, maybe 2 days. But if I have dairy 3 days in a row, now I'm in a flare zone, right? So it's like, where's that limit with this food? Or where's the limit with how many changes I can make at a time? You have to know yourself, and that's gonna be different for every single person here. Build a routine with buffers. So for the ladies, I know this is a topic that comes up a lot, but the pre-period flare, she's the worst. She comes along, you know, like that week before to our first week of your cycle, it's like, flares are coming. I still feel that inflammation in my cycle. I know that during that time, I am prime. So like if I step out, that's the week I'm not touching dairy, or I might not go out to that like Spanish restaurant where I know they're gonna put red pepper and everything. So I know the buffers of like where I can buy myself more flexibility with my diet. Follicular phase, cool, no stress, like, you know, in the rest of my life, like on vacation, usually when you're relaxed, that's usually a time where you can have a little more wiggle room, because when your stress levels are low, you're less prone to flare anyway. So you find buffers and you kind of, it's this levers and pulley. Nothing is static, and there's nuance with everything when it comes to nutrition. But the overarching theme is consistency. So that's where it goes back to the discipline of the consistency of I am consistently gluten-free. Like 365, 24/7. That is not something that I mess with. I know for sure that if I ingest even small amounts of it, I will flare, and it'll also make me more prone to flaring for weeks after. So I know that I'm consistent with hydration. I'm consistent with my protein intake. I'm consistent with my sleep habits. Those are things. You know, vegetable amounts, you know, like dairy, other things I play with, but I do have certain hard limits which help keep me feeling better. And it's not just my HS, it's everything else, because if you know, when you have chronic illness, it's the joint pain and the fatigue and the brain fog and like just feeling like you're a creaky 90-year-old person all the time. So like constipation, oh my gosh, like if I don't drink enough water or eat enough fiber, like I'm not pooping and then I don't feel good. So staying consistent with those things that keep me feeling good. And again, you deserve it. And I remember it took me a long time to get to the place where I was okay being the high maintenance person at the restaurant. Like even dinner last night with a group, I'm gonna ask the questions, I need the special menu, I'm gonna, you know, but advocating for myself in spaces with professional spaces, with family, with neighbors, the potluck, I'm bringing my own dish. You know, I even remember going to like the Navy ball one year when I took a Tupperware, literally like, you know, everyone's at the buffet and I'm like, you know, I have my own food. But I stopped like apologizing for taking care of myself. And that was honestly a beautiful journey, because in changing my diet and advocating for myself in that way, it helped me, know that like it's okay to ask, you know, to advocate for myself in that way. Like, I'm sorry, Grandma, I love your cooking, but not gonna happen. Okay, so the balance between consistency, mental health, and seeing progress. Know thyself. I don't know you. I don't know what's gonna work for you. Are you a rip the Band-Aid off kind of person? Are you a slow, like let's do it step by step kind of person? Do you require more rest, more planning, more journaling? Some people need a plan. They need a meal prep. They need to know what they're gonna eat and where they're gonna eat. I try to be that organized, but I'm type B. I am not a type A person. So I tend to just batch cook on Sunday and then we kind of wing it. But I've also, you know, like I've been doing this for a long time. You have to know yourself and you have to be honest with yourself about what your capability is and what your personal habits are like, so that you can create a plan around yourself, right? And I feel like sometimes the wellness influencers online do us a disservice because they feel like wellness has to look like matcha lattes and waking up at 3 a.m. with like a 25-step morning routine. And, you know, that's not what wellness is. It's whatever works for you, right? So with your lifestyle, with your family, with your work, with your chronic illness, what does that look like for you? And again, know thyself. I can't tell you what that looks like for you. You have to know it for yourself. I'm a huge proponent of like the Papaya app, which I know, I forgot who mentioned it. one of the doctors, but using apps to track your symptoms, what you're eating, how you're sleeping, your bowel movements, all of those things can help you give insights into what your needs are.
It is on Android now. I think with the slide that they had said it was coming soon.
Okay, so yeah, it's on Apple and Android. And there's a Spanish version, Se Habla HS. Oh, we have a Spanish support group, Se Habla HS, which Juliana hosts. But like, I'm a big fan, especially at the beginning. I don't track anymore, but I did for a long time. And part of the reason that tracking symptoms and how you feel is important, not necessarily everything you eat, because that could be a little triggering, right? And that's another thing I want to acknowledge. If you have a history of disordered eating, this is going to look different for you, right? That's why I like the thing of adding more foods in and not restriction, and also knowing yourself. Some things won't apply to you. If you have a history of disordered eating, guess what? The autoimmune protocol is not for you. You have to be careful about developing food fear. Everybody is different in their history with food, whether they've over-restricted or this or that. And when you're doing it, like when you're using nutrition to address your chronic illness, it's not the same as losing weight. Oh my God, I forgot to do a slide on this, but let's talk about it real quick. It's not about losing weight. It's not about losing weight. It's not about losing weight. I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but it is, you can use nutrition to lower your inflammation and still be in a larger body. Like when I talk to my doctor and I'm like, I was in remission 50 pounds ago, guy, It's like, I was in remission 60 pounds heavier than I am now, but I was still in remission. Like, because it wasn't about shrinking my body. It was about my gut health, my blood sugar regulation, finding my trigger foods, which I have trigger foods. Not everybody has trigger foods, but that doesn't mean that what you eat doesn't affect your HS, right? Because there's blood sugar regulation, there's the way HS impacts literally you on a cellular level, and we'll get into that. But eating for, like, nutrition for managing HS is not about weight loss, and that's really important conversation, because unfortunately in the medical field, they do harp on that a lot, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. Yes, we understand that cytokines and this and the whole thing, and like there's fat and it releases more inflammatory cytokines, we get that, I understand that, but guess what? Thin people have HS too, we have plenty in the room. And they still got HS, so different body sizes have HS. There's a lot that we still don't know about this condition, so don't focus on body size, focus on knowing your body and nourishing your body and finding what works for you. Okay, so we're gonna get into the little science a little bit. We're gonna talk about inflammation because,
Do you need next slide?
oh, next slide. Next one. That one, there you go. So HS is a chronic inflammatory disease. It is your whole body. It is not just your skin. And this is fundamental to understand, especially when we're addressing nutrition. I always tell people, like, your skin is the last thing that's gonna get the memo when you start eating healthy. You might feel like better digestion, better energy, less pain. A lot of other things may happen before HS improves in any significant way. But going back to journaling, it is still important to journal because sometimes we don't even notice when things are improving. When I go back to my early journals from 2015, I remember when you go from having 16 active flares to having 12 active flares, you may not really notice that unless you're writing it down, but it's still progress, which is why it's important to track. I would do a body count every morning, like a body scan, not a red, green, yellow one, not for those purposes, but it was for, okay, what do I got going on? Like left armpit 2, right armpit 3, 4 on the right, on the left, and it'd be like, every morning, like what do I have going on? Because as things got better, I'd be like, okay, well, this one closed, or this one's no longer draining, or there's no new ones in this area, even though there was still inflammation. So sometimes it's hard to even quantify the progress if we're not tracking it. But okay, your inflammation is your immune system at work, right? And so, we have an overreactive immune system. Our body's like default setting is like crazy inflammation up here. And it's like, the way I see it is we have to like wrestle down that inflammation. And we can do that in a number of different ways. That's what a lot of the medications do. They're literally just bringing that inflammation down. When your body detects injury, infection, or an irritant, it sends immune cells to protect and repair. We need this, right? There's a level of inflammation that is beneficial to you, right? And of course, the redness, the heat, the swelling, the pain, we're all very familiar with that. That's your body doing its job. The problem with HS is that it never turns off. It's just always on overdrive all the time, extra. And so we need to, in whatever way we can, in all the ways ever, bring that inflammation down. And when we bring that inflammation down, it's also like kind of quieting down the immune system. Next slide, please. Okay, so there's two types of inflammation. There's acute inflammation and there's chronic inflammation. Obviously, we have the chronic kind. Good for us, how exciting. So again, everyone, you get a sore throat, you roll your ankle, you get a cut, it gets red, it gets swollen, cool, inflammation. But chronic inflammation, that like low grade, I don't know if ours is that low grade, you know what I'm saying? Like they say chronic low grade inflammation, I'm like, I would say like we have high grade chronic inflammation. But it's essentially, again, that system of like that's supposed to be protecting us. It's like it really says like our alarm system is going off and our attack dog, like instead of that Rottweiler, instead of attacking the outside people, it's attacking us all the time. It is just like will not let go. So again, over time that damages healthy tissues. We know what that looks like, all of us, because that's literally our own immune system damaging healthy tissues. So how do we turn that off, or how can we use nutrition to help chill that out? Next slide, please. I keep looking at this one when I say next slide, please, but it's not changing, and it's changing behind me, and I feel like a crazy person. Okay. Okay. So again, ongoing infections will cause chronic inflammation. Again, HS is not an infection, but we can get secondary infections, but autoimmune conditions cause chronic inflammation. HS is autoinflammatory. Like Dr. Dave Louis said, potato, they're cousins. Diet and a lot of refined processed foods, sugars, and refined carbohydrates. This is like, there's science to prove it. I know it sucks to read it, and I'm all about, it's not that you can never have these foods, but when we look at the standard American diet, or how the average American eats, processed foods, sugars, and refined carbohydrates make a significant portion of Americans' diets, which is problematic because, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we were mostly eating like plants and animals, like produce, right? And protein and like grains and legumes. And now you look at people like, there was this interesting study that looked at like what people's grocery carts look like. And now it's like significantly like 80% things in packages, like, like chips and stuff like that. And then so much less of just like meat and vegetables and fruit and that kind of thing. So just kind of going back to like what our ancestors ate, what our grandparents were eating. And listen, they probably had HS too, for sure. I'm just not just saying that like they didn't have, HS has been around for a really long time, but processed foods are processed. If you look at the ingredient list on a lot of foods, there's a lot of things that we're just not meant to be consuming all the time. Like I love chips like the next person. I love chocolate, I love ice cream. But having those things occasionally versus being the majority of your diet. Stress, we talked a lot about stress. Chronic stress is inflammatory in a lot of different ways, and I'm not gonna get into the weeds here, but it spikes your blood sugar, it can impact your gut health, it impairs your digestion, it literally has this ripple effect, this cascade that causes inflammation in your body. And like, we said yesterday, stress is everywhere, we're all stressed out, are you kidding me? Like all the time. But you can do things like Dr. Barr's presentation was so important because again, you can't control life, but you can control like your breath work, and you can literally trick your brain into like getting it back into a parasympathetic state just by how you breathe. So I know like it can be, again, one more thing to add to your plate, but it takes 2 seconds to be like, okay, like breathe, or going to bed a little bit earlier. Like we put on this event, it's been stressful. We did a thing in New York, but like going to bed earlier and like practicing my breathing, like that's how we got through it. That's why I'm still standing. That and a lot of coffee, which is not ideal. At home I don't drink so much. And then of course environmental toxins and irritants, which we also can't avoid. It's the world we live in, but there's a lot of things that you can do with nutrition, like eating more antioxidant rich foods that helps your body kind of combat this. And then of course, gut imbalance. The gut health thing is really big, especially in the HS community. And luckily we're getting more data on this now, and they talked about it at SHSA. But a lot of people with HS, we have like an imbalance in our microbiome, not only in our gut, but on our skin. So essentially we are more organisms than we are human. It's kind of weird when you think about it. Like we're literally like chock full of these little organisms, like all about inside and outside. And so, but there's like quote unquote good ones and quote unquote bad ones. We need both. We always have both, and they're supposed to be in a specific balance. But a lot of different things like medications, like I guess a lot of antibiotics, which we've all been on, can kind of cause an imbalance there. Dr. Dave Louis, actually, we were talking about this, and he mentioned a study that they did, and they said that they found that a lot of HS patients had a lot of upper respiratory infections earlier in life right? So people who have a lot of upper respiratory infections then later in life get HS. But he's like, I don't think it's the fact that they had upper respiratory infections. I think it's the fact that those were treated with a lot of antibiotics. And I'm like, oh my God, that was me, like my whole childhood. And so maybe how that impacted like my microbiome and then later led to developing HS, which could be just one small part of it, right? So there's a lot that you can do with how you eat to support your gut health. Okay, next slide, please. And all this matters because chronic inflammation is linked to a lot of conditions, obviously, HS, heart disease, diabetes, immune system disorders, joint pain, fatigue. There's so much of like, it's just not your HS, right? It's like, if we want to live longer and better lives, better quality of life, what you eat, our nutrition is just a tool that's always at your disposal. And one of the things that for me has been like, the way I ate when I got into remission, I don't eat like that anymore. My diet has changed, but understanding what works for my body has given me this tool to pivot when needed. So what I want from everybody is to understand that you have a tool in your toolbox that no matter your insurance coverage, no matter where you live, no matter what happens, you know your body well enough to have this toolkit to mitigate issues. Next slide, please. So the good news, inflammation is manageable. It's a lot harder when it comes to HS, a lot harder. I'm not gonna downplay that. Like I always say, like my third job is managing inflammation. It's literally a full-time job, but I do it because it's worth it for me to live, pain-free and have the quality of life that I have now. So anti-inflammatory foods, fiber from vegetables, flax seeds, omega-3 from fatty fish, colorful plants, protein, Dr. Barr, stress management, breathing, quality sleep, moving your body. And moving your body can look like a lot of different things. Slow walks, swimming, chair yoga, whatever way you can move your body, even if you like move your arms, if you can't move your legs, if you're in bed, it doesn't matter. In one way or another, try and move your body a little bit. It's not just to like, it moves your lymph, all the things, it helps with blood sugar regulation immensely. We touched on this a little bit. I think it was with Dr. Dave Louis' questions of like the more muscle you have, like the muscles, like when you actually first build muscle, there's a little bit of inflammation, but afterwards, like the more muscle you have, like the more anti-inflammatory goodness in your body. And then reducing exposure to irritants or triggers. This is one that's it's not so much nutrition, but it's worth mentioning because it hasn't really been mentioned, but use free and clear. Like, try to avoid products with a ton of like artificial scents and irritating things. I know sometimes with HS, you're like, oh, because I want my laundry to smell really good or because we feel bad of the odor, but a lot of these, they're chemicals. It's chemicals and you're putting it in your clothes and then you're wearing it on your body. And so switching to, again, I feel like we are sensitive skinned people. So when it comes to like your clothing, the personal care products, try to switch to the sensitive skin products that don't have like fragrances and irritating ingredients. All right, next slide, please. Okay, I feel like this is relatable, yeah? Like it's pushing a boulder up a hill, like living with chronic inflammatory disease. It's battling inflammation that just won't quit. And it's, being proactive about that can literally feel, like I said, like a job. And I'll give you guys and it's not glamorous. Like I said, it's not matcha lattes and yoga and like a matching set, It's when I travel, I wear compression socks. Like an old lady. They're colorful though, so it's okay. Like it's going to bed early. It's literally like the 9 p.m. bedtime and the 25 empty bottles of water in my room because I'm so dehydrated because it's so freaking dry here. It's the little choices that I make. It's like that. Okay, like Brinley, of course, like fighting with the hotel to be like, we have to have the gluten-free options because some people don't eat stuff. It's all of those little moments of advocating, for yourself to continue to feel better. Because I know that if I didn't eat the way that I ate, I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't have been able to help put on this event. I wouldn't have made it. I would be bedridden instead. And so it's work, it's constant work, but when you have this tool and you see the benefit, it is incredible. It really is. And I know that it's hard because I know a lot of you have tried a lot of different things. And so you're like, I've tried it, doesn't work. And again, I'm not saying that it's easier that it's the hard thing because I'm like, if I could sit down with each one of you, every single person and be like, give me 2 hours, we'll figure it out. But there is no roadmap. There's no one size fits all approach. So I just want to continue to encourage you guys to continue to pay attention to your body, it's talking back to you. We have a feedback loop in our body. Our body wants to be in homeostasis. Our body wants to be thriving. So it's kind of like your car and the little lights on the dash, you know? So it's not just your skin. It's if you eat something, you get a headache, or you eat something, you get a post-nasal drip, or you eat something and you feel sleepy afterwards, or you feel bloated, or you have loose stools, or you get constipated. Like, all of these are signals from your body that's saying, like, I don't know if I like this, you know? And so we start listening to those, we start piecing together what our personal ideal nutrition looks like. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how do anti-inflammatory foods actually lower inflammation. And again, instead of talking about a specific diet plan, I just wanna like kind of explain the science here, because I want you guys to understand and like go out and make choices based on like, okay, this is what the science says, like anti-inflammatory foods, and then pay attention to your body and see what it likes and what doesn't. Because for example, like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, those are vegetables that I remember my whole childhood when my mom put me on diets like Weight Watchers and stuff, that's a whole other bag of trauma, but we won't get into that today. Like I would eat a ton of these, I would eat a ton of tomatoes and peppers because they're low calorie. Guess what? They make my HS flare, you know? So it wasn't until I found that out that it was like, well, no wonder that didn't feel great, you know? So it's about finding, you know, you're not gonna find a study on nightshades and HS. It doesn't exist. There's no literature that says that nightshades are a trigger for hidradenitis suppurativa, but like, I don't know if it does. Anyone else in the room react to nightshades? All right, there's, yeah, okay, 4 or 5, right. So like, you know, how many people react to dairy? Okay, anyone react to gluten? Okay, sugar? All right, yeah. Do we have studies on this? It doesn't exist. Dr. Syed is running a nutrition study, but there's nightshades and it's a whole thing. We talked about it. But like, I wish there was more literature because we know what we know about our bodies, right? And so we almost have to be our own experts. Okay, so again, food is information for your body. It's one of those weird things where I don't know why they're having us dissect frogs in biology in middle school. That shit was useless. What I wish they taught me was about how digestion works and like my period, honestly, but you know, it is what it is. But like when you eat food, it's literally like, it affects you on a cellular level. Like the food that we eat like goes into our stomach and is broken down chemically and mechanically into a mush, and then it goes into our duodenum and then like bioemulsifies the fat so that it can be absorbed, and the little microvilli and the nutrients go into our bloodstream and literally go to every part in our body. Like what you eat, it's the most intimate relationship ever. You're not just what you eat, you are what you assimilate, what you absorb. And so it is information for us on a cellular level. So think about that, right? And so with HS, again, we have this overactive immune system. So we need to give our body food that tells it, or the information it gives it is to go, shh, calm down, it's okay, you're safe, you know? So the immune system releases inflammatory messengers. Obviously, we know the TNF alpha, IL-1B, IL-17, these can trigger the painful flares and swelling, right? There's anti-inflammatory foods that can specifically like modulate and calm these pathways. Like it's kind of crazy when you think about it, but like our immune system, 70% of our immune cells live in our gut. So like it's in your gut. So like where food goes. So there's a connection. Next slide, please. So again, certain foods reduce oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is like, I know it's weird how that happens. It's essentially like things get damaged in your body. And sometimes this can be a byproduct of like natural processes in our body. Like our liver is interesting. People think our liver detoxes like it's a filter. It's not. It's more like a transformer. Like it takes certain toxins and that we either produce or that we ingest, and it transforms them into a version that our body can then eliminate. And so we store toxins in body fat too, which is another weird thing that mammals do, not just humans, but like cows too. Like it's really interesting how our body just is constantly working to protect us. So there is a level of like helping that our bodies are really good at detoxing. I hate detox teas and like, oh, I need to do a detox. I'm like, well, you just drink more water, sleep, maybe some vegetables. Like your body will do it. You know, you don't need like a plan. You just gotta like let your body do its thing. It's really good at taking care of you. So, you know, for a healthier microbiome, it's gonna give you less systemic inflammation. You know, hormone balance. Hormones, oh my God. I hear all the time on my TikTok, my HS is hormonal, diet has nothing to do with it. And I'm like, bet, but hear me out. Like what you eat has a huge impact on your hormones, a huge impact on your hormones. Like insulin is a hormone. It's like a mob boss of hormones, and it has a direct effect on like androgens, right? Like insulin resistance drives high androgens, just testosterone, and high androgens drives literally like sebum oil production and hair follicle inflammation, which is freaking crazy, right? And so when we think about like when your doctor prescribes metformin or spironolactone, it's to address the insulin resistance, and it's to lower androgens, right? We see that, and we see obviously with men and HS and like the testosterone levels and how it can make HS so much worse. And so, but things that we eat can impact that, because again, the insulin resistance, which I think it's up to like 75% of HS patients are dealing with some sort of metabolic dysfunction. So some level of insulin resistance or blood sugar dysregulation. And sometimes that dysbiosis or that microbiome imbalance, and this is also something which they were talking about at SHSA, makes it harder for us to like have better blood sugar regulation. So it's all connected. So like working on that gut health and focusing on blood sugar regulation are two ways to improve your inflammation that has nothing to do with removing food groups. So that's the good news. And then of course, detox pathways, better clearance of inflammatory byproducts. And you know, Dati and I were talking about this the other day, actually with Taylor, because a lot of us, when I first changed my diet, it got worse. My HS got way worse before it got better. And I don't know how many of you have lost weight and your HS goes bananas when you lose weight, right? Okay, with weight loss comes these like crazy flares. And like, again, there's no study to prove this or talk about this in a meaningful way, but my theory is we store toxins in our fat, in our body fat. When you lose weight, your body metabolizes that body fat, right? And so then those toxins are gonna be released back into your system, and then your body has to get rid of them all over again. So like I noticed that, like every 10 to 15 pounds, if I lose weight, it's like, oh, you know, like, well, something's going on. Like, you know, you feel like, you know what it is, like that simmer under your scars and your flares, and you're like, it's cooking, it's coming. And so I know to support my system more to like make sure I'm eliminating daily. Like if you're not pooping every day, come talk to me. We gotta fix that. Like elimination is super important. Drinking plenty of water, fiber, because this is going to help you. So, you know, sometimes again, and even though eating to lower inflammation is not for weight loss, oftentimes it's a side effect, right? So it's gonna happen, right? It may or may not, but it may happen. And so people feel that you're not the only one who has experienced that. All right, so next slide, please. Boop. All right, let's talk about foods that lower inflammation. So you guys can write these down. I'm gonna have to mention this a little bit, but we're gonna get into like things that you should add to your diet. So my recommendation is, instead of walking out and say, well, I'm gonna remove things, right? If you already know some triggers, great. Continue to avoid those if you know your triggers. But if you wanna lower inflammation, just start by adding things in. So omega-3s, fatty acids, EPA and DHA. So our body, these are called essential fatty acids because our body requires them for like important functions, but we do not make them. Our body makes saturated fat. Did you guys know that our liver makes saturated fat? So like there's a lot of like things that like, and it's funny because a lot of times when people have high cholesterol, people are like, eat less saturated fat. I'm like, yes, that helps, but sometimes people just make it. Like it doesn't matter if you're not eating it, your body's just gonna make it, which is kind of bananas. But our body does not make omega-3 or omega-6. So the omega-3 and omega-6 are both essential fatty acids, both sides of the same coin. Omega-3 creates anti-inflammatory prostaglandins, hormone-like substances that help reduce inflammation. When you have that flare and it finally starts calming down, prostaglandins, anti-inflammatory. But omega-6 creates pro-inflammatory prostaglandins. So like when you get that cut or you roll your ankle and it gets swollen immediately, those are those prostaglandins. Now we need both are good, but the problem is, unfortunately, omega-6 is like everywhere. It's in everything. It's in grains, it's in chicken, it's in like foods that we eat all the time. No one is out here trying to like supplement with omega-6. Most of us have plenty in our diet. Omega-3, however, a lot less common. So we have to be very, oh my God, what's the word for like on purpose? Like intentional, thank you. Intentional about our omega-3 consumption. So I, for example, eat fatty, like salmon, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, sardines? No, I have tried them, and I actually have a recipe for sardine cakes on my old blog that was very good, but I'm not always in the mood because they're too fishy, you know? But sometimes, whatever, but I like salmon. So like in one way, I had oysters last night, super, not just omega-3, but high in zinc as well. So adding in fatty fish at least twice a week, you know? You can do walnuts and chia seeds and all that stuff as well. However, there is a less of a conversion rate to like the form that our body actually uses. But algae, there's algae-based omega-3, which is a plant-based omega-3 that's highly absorbable. So anyways, these omega-3s reduce that TNF-A, right? The TNF-alpha and the IL-6. Like these foods literally reduce inflammation in our body, and they improve your cell membrane integrity. Like our cells are literally made up of fat. And then antioxidant-rich produce. So we talked about oxidative stress earlier. So that's what antioxidants help fight, right? The berries, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, herbs and spices, honestly, like leafy cilantro, parsley, you know, rosemary, like turmeric. There's a lot of nutrients in our herbs and spice cabinet, so don't sleep on those. But they help neutralize free radicals, which are, they're reactive molecules that are like missing an electron, and essentially they're like, again, a byproduct of like natural processes in our body, but also inflammatory foods and stuff like that cause more of the free radicals. And then our body uses too many antioxidants to like neutralize that, and so you have to eat more antioxidants. So anyways, just eat the rainbow. That's the easiest way to remember it. Next slide, please. High fiber foods. So fiber is super important. It helps feed your gut bacteria. So yes, you can eat like, you know, fermented foods that have natural probiotics in them, but you also have to feed those little critters. And what's really interesting is that like commensal, which is the beneficial, and then opportunistic, which is the quote unquote bad bacteria, like the quote unquote bad bacteria, the stuff that causes dysbiosis and inflammation, like yeast overgrowth or other things like that, it really likes sugar. And they thrive off of sugar. But yet the beneficial bacteria, the one that's gonna like help you and lower inflammation, it likes fiber. It likes sweet potatoes. It likes the healthy stuff. I'm sorry, it's facts of life. I didn't make up the rules. So anyway, so yeah, we need more fiber, really good. And also so you don't get colon cancer, which is a huge issue in America. And then quality protein. Protein is the building blocks of our body, especially for wound healing, y'all. Protein. It's gonna, like, protein has a lot of different nutrients, like it has arginine, it has zinc, like a lot of people with HS are deficient in zinc. So getting in different types of quality protein, lean proteins are really good. They're gonna help regulate your blood sugar. They're gonna keep you full longer. So when you make your plate, you know, palm-sized portion of protein, 2 handfuls of veggies, that kind of thing. All right, next slide, please. So what feeds inflammation? All the good stuff. Refined carbs and sugar, like ice cream. I used to love ice cream. And then I was like, oh, every time I eat Ben & Jerry's, I have 3 giant flares the next day because it was like sugar and dairy, like double whammy. So again, refined sugars and carbohydrates. And so, for example, like you can have rice, you can even eat potato, you know, you can have like whole food carbs are totally fine. You know, brown rice, legumes, like those are fine. They have more fiber. You can pair them with a fat and a protein. They're not going to spike your blood sugar. But when you're eating like cereal or a lot of cookies or crackers or, you know, chips like that, that's going to spike your blood sugar, especially when you have them alone, right? Like if you're not pairing it, like cereal, for example, kills me. Like you're having a bowl of milk, and milk has lactose, which is a natural form of sugar in the milk, and there's 0 protein, and it's just like carbs. I feel like cereal should be dessert, not breakfast. So that's a whole other, anyways, that's a whole other thing. So anyways, but it does drive androgen production. So when you're spiking your blood sugar, think it's gonna drive androgen production, which is gonna make my HS worse. Fried foods and oxidized oils. So fried foods, and a lot of people with HS, they say, oh, I feel better when I cut out fried foods. And it's because, first of all, a lot of times when you're frying foods in these oils, like it oxidizes them, which then makes them like create like free radicals like in your body, but also they're inflammatory because fried foods are breaded. So you're getting the combination of oils and refined carbohydrates in it. And so that's just like disaster. No bueno. And again, like I love a chicken tender, so I'll have them sometimes. It's not about you can never have them, but just not all the time, you know? Or if you are gonna fry something, for example, if I'm gonna make sweet potato fries at home, I'll use like beef tallow or like a good olive oil or something, you know, like a fat that might be a little better for me. And not do the oil so hot so it doesn't like oxidize. You know, you don't want to take oils. Smoke point and oxidation are a little bit different in oils, and there's some confusion there, but we won't get in the weeds. All right, dairy for some, it increases insulin growth factor, which insulin growth factor can be like good for some people because it is good in small amounts. We all need it. It helps us like grow muscles and stuff, but too much can then cause inflammation. And so dairy definitely spikes that. And again, some people react to the different proteins or the sugar in dairy, the whey, the casein. So a lot of hands raised with dairy here. It's just something worth exploring if you're curious. And then gluten and nightshades. Again, these are just for sensitive individuals. There's no rule book that says why they make you. I mean, I know why. It's obviously like there's an anti-nutrient in gluten, right? And so that makes my immune system reacts to that. My immune system reacts to the anti-nutrients and nightshades. Like essentially your immune system saw food and said, tag, you're it. Now every time you're in my body, I'm going to overreact. That's how trigger foods work. Your immune system has tagged that food enemy number one. Next slide. Okay, but there is studies that say that, food can lower inflammation, so that's exciting. So just wanted to be like, look, science. So it's because a lot of people think that it's like, oh, it's woo-woo or it's bullshit. No, there is a lot that like overall we understand how different dietary patterns can lower inflammation. So if your doctor's like, oh, it doesn't matter what you eat, you can be like, well, I beg to differ. All right, next slide. Okay, so let's get into it. What research shows about diet and inflammation? Anti-inflammatory eating can reduce the body's inflammatory signal fire, right? That overactive immune system. Clinical studies show that diets rich in omega-3, antioxidants, and fiber lower key inflammatory markers like TNF, alpha, IL-6, and CRP, which is C-reactive protein. How many of you guys, when you get your lab work done, you have high CRP levels, high white blood cell count, high ferritin? Right, those are inflammatory markers. So again, that was me for many, many years. It's weird now when I get my lab work done, it's like my white blood cell count is low and I'm like, am I okay? So, these are things that again, with like adding in omega-3, antioxidant rich foods, you can actually lower these things. We have seen, and it is studied ad nauseum, of course, of like lowering inflammation, things like autoimmune, metabolic, and cardiovascular diseases. Like obviously what we eat, people will often say the Mediterranean diet, but even that is like, what does that even mean? And also, does that gonna work for you? I don't know. Is it a good starting point? Sure. But remember, it's still gonna look different for everybody. And of course, studies also show that benefits are greatest with long-term consistent changes rather than short-term diets. And that sucks, but it's the truth. But I will tell you that I've aside from writing 2 cookbooks, I think I wrote over 1,000 recipes that were dairy-free, gluten-free, nightshade-free, grain-free, this-free, all the frees over the course of 10 years. And I go out to eat several times a week now, avoiding my triggers, and I love what I eat, and I don't miss out on foods. And that consistency has, paid off tenfold, right? And I'm more flexible with my diet than I used to be, but I am able to like live my life better. You know what I'm saying? People say, well, I'm gonna miss out on stuff, but I'm like, Dati, right? You could say like, not really. I mean, there's like a trade-off, but do you feel like you're missing out?
No, I missed out on less. Like it was a trade-off in the beginning. It took for me almost 3 years to see like true improvement. And I showed you guys yesterday, like my scars. I had full stage 3 HS, like you said, 20, 30 flares at a time sometimes. And after those 3 years, like the way that I feel now, and like you saw me on day 1 wearing baby blue pants and a white shirt, bitch. Like that's a flex in the nature.
That is a flex.
That is a flex. And so there's a trade-off, but it was 1,000%.
For sure. So we can skip to slide 24 because I'm not gonna bore you guys with the rest of the science. I can email everybody this, but we can, next slide.
Please email it to us.
I will. Next slide. Okay. Removing trigger foods does not an anti-inflammatory diet make. I will die on this hill because some people say like, it is, I know it's hard enough, right? But sometimes people are like, well, people see online and they'll say that Dati and I react to certain foods. So they'll be like, well, I'm gonna remove your trigger foods and then be like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, that's not how that works, guys. I'm sorry. Like if you just remove, like I can eat gluten-free, nightshade-free, dairy-free and still eat like, I don't know, gluten-free Oreos. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're also vegan. So people be like, well, I want vegan. What are you saying?
Oreos have always been vegan.
They have always been vegan, right? So, but like adding in things. So for example, this little pizza in the middle, like ex-husband used to say, like you eat like food shaped like other foods because it's a chicken crust with a beet sauce and cheese made from cashews. It was actually really good. The recipe's on my old website. Yeah. And this is a salsa verde made from kiwis. And like so good. And then that was like that's the hamburger soup everybody loves. And then of course like salmon. This is like I think a mustard salmon, which I served with collard greens. It was really good. But like it's just about like adding in the foods like protein focused, omega-3s, fiber rich stuff. think about those, not just what you're taking out. And I can't drill that down enough, right? Because like you'll go online and people say, there's a lot of people who share a lot about food online who don't know shit about nutrition. And so that can be really dangerous because, yeah, not everyone knows what they're talking about. So just be careful. If you have questions, email me. All right. So I'm going to open up for questions because I feel like nutrition stuff can often be confusing. So does anyone have questions for me? No? No? If not, we do have snacks. Yeah, great question. So the question is for those online, is it okay to supplement with omega-3? Absolutely. So you can supplement with omega-3. I would say like I actually supplement with omega-3 and also try to eat fish because I feel like it's like I said, like we need all the help we can get. But yes, you can definitely take an omega-3 supplement. There's a few things. Not all omega-3 supplements are created equal. The supplement thing is tough because there's a lot of shitty supplements on the market. There's a lot of bad. So like I would say like and omega-3, so polyunsaturated fats are really temperamental to heat and light can damage them. So ideally you buy an omega-3 that's like cold or like keep it refrigerated or at least not get hot. So I worry about buying omega-3s from Amazon or Costco. Like I don't know where they could have been on a pallet sitting in the sun or in a hot truck. So I use Fullscript usually to buy a lot of my supplements, which is an online dispensary, and like they'll ship stuff with like ice packs and whatnot. I don't know if I still have a link in my bio for that, but yeah, or I can recommend some, but there's, you want like a good quality one and if like, ideally you keep it in the fridge at your house, but yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Martha.
I'm sorry, it kind of goes with what she was saying. Do you recommend any supplements or do you do supplements?
So I personally do supplements, yes. I feel like supplements are like an omega-3. It's just a concentrated form of a specific nutrient. Usually that's what that is. But what someone's needs are going to be unique to each person. Like I have my supplement stack that I take, which is like a bunch of weird stuff, but that's stuff that I know I need. Like I need, vitamin D and I need magnesium or I need turmeric or, whatever. So are there certain nutrients that we know that we are deficient in the HS community? Yeah. So like zinc, a lot of people, I think a lot of people here take zinc. I saw a few people with zinc. So zinc helps with wound healing. It helps with modulate the immune system. So zinc glycinate is the type of zinc you want to take. There's different types of zinc. A lot of us are also low in vitamin D. Most Americans are. Vitamin D is also important for the immune system. So like supplementing with vitamin D and vitamin D, D2 and K3, you need that for the absorption. Those are also fat soluble. So if they're in like the pill form with like the gel capsule form that has like some kind of like MCT oil in it, or just taking your supplements with meals is usually the best way to get them absorbed better. But yeah, I would say zinc, vitamin D, and omega-3 are like pretty good recommendations, but always talk to your doctor before starting a new supplement. What's up, Amy? Just put up your own. Yeah, it's on.
Okay. I like do wonder like how like food like ties and hormones and everything else ties into like cravings, because also it deals with stress, because I find myself spending more money and buying more like food. I say like, oh, I'm stress eating. I wonder what like causes that and how it ties in, because when you're stressed and you're eating constantly, obviously you're gonna have more flares.
Yes, so that's a great question. So there's a few ways that impacts that. So as I mentioned earlier, when you are stressed, stress will spike your blood sugar. Like I remember I said, there was this, anyways, I had this article on my old website, but it was like stress is like chocolate cake, Stress will literally like, it can spike your blood sugar. Like, and I mean, if you wear a continuous glucose monitor, like you can see the way that your blood sugar regulation can be so impacted by like a high stress or an emotional upset. And when your blood sugar goes, when your cortisol, because it's the cortisol that releases. And the thing is that we are like primal beings, right? So when we're stressed out, our body thinks, holy moly, we're in a fight for our life. Lions, tigers, bears, oh my, Like literally that's what it thinks. It doesn't realize that we're in traffic or there's an email or work is crazy or school is crazy. We are like literally like cavemen running around in the modern world. So our body gets ready to fight. That's literally what a cortisol spike does. It'll release, signals your body to release the glucose that's stored to give you energy to literally fight for your life. It's crazy, right? When you think about it. And so that blood sugar, but we're not fighting for our life. We're writing an email, you know, or like fighting with someone on the phone, or like with Hannah, poor Hannah fighting with UPS, good Lord, you know? So we're not. And so we get that blood sugar spike, and what comes up must come down. And so once we have that blood sugar spike and we don't use it, then your body overreacts and then releases too much insulin to bring it back down. And then that causes a blood sugar dip. So that blood sugar dysfunction, the highs and the lows happen when there's like this overreaction, which is why eating in a way that keeps your body in like what we call rolling hills versus peaks and lows is what you want. And so that's one way to do it. And the way that that impacts hormones is that those sugar spikes can over time repeatedly can drive insulin resistance, right? But your body has that like reaction to androgens, right? So, and also with HS patients, there's a lot of different things like candida overgrowth or even dysbiosis, things that happen in our gut that, like I mentioned earlier, the opportunistic bacteria or like the yeast, those kind of organisms which are not beneficial to us, they love sugar. And so when you have candida overgrowth or like yeast overgrowth, you'll crave sugar, but it's not you really craving it. It's those little suckers in your gut that want it. So there's a lot of different reasons why that, you know, it's like a vicious cycle. But yeah, I hope that answered that. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right, so we do have some snacks for everybody outside. I wanted to bring more stuff, but the hotel wouldn't let me. So we've got protein bars and mandarin oranges, and I want to explain why I picked those. So they're not actually all of these, because I wanted to bring all this awesome stuff, but they wouldn't let me. So we've got 2 types of protein bars. One's like a plant-based date brownie, and the other one is like the IQ, the I Think bars. And then oranges. And I think that like these are the kind of things where it's like progress over perfection. Is a protein bar a processed food? Yes. But if I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, I'm on the go. I need something. Like if I'm stopping at a gas station or something, I'm going to go for something that's got, you know, more protein than it does carbs and that doesn't have a trigger food, right? So those are my things of like, you know, there's better, best, right? So this is, in this moment, this is the best option I have. We're going with it. So protein bars are those kind of foods. And then mandarins are awesome sauce because they're little, they're compact, they've got vitamin C. And vitamin C is super important because it helps our body create more collagen or better quality collagen, which we need for wound healing. And also vitamin C is a very powerful antioxidant that we talked about we need. So help yourself get some protein bars. They're outside, and some oranges. And then think of me while you eat them. I'm just kidding. But take plenty, because we have, like, if you want to take them for your plane ride and stuff like that, like these are really good snacks. So like, again, for when you're traveling. So take plenty. Also we're going to give away. So I'm going to think of a number between 1 and 50. I think there's 50 people here. And then whoever guesses it right gets a copy of my cookbook. So I do have 2 cookbooks that I wrote. The first one came out in 2018. The second one in 2020. This is my first one. And I wrote this book is, I would say like these are the recipes that put me in. I mean, I wrote this book when it came out in 2017, which was the first year that I was in remission, which is crazy, like writing this book. And so it is dairy free. It's paleo. So it's grain free, dairy free, nightshade free. There's over 100 AIP recipes. So it is more elimination style. So it's not something that you have to like do all the time, but they taste really good. And you even just to look through it and look at the pictures of like, you know, food can taste good and it can be good and colorful and flavorful and still, and there's brownies in here. So anyways, you can buy them on Amazon. They're available anywhere books are sold. But all right, let's, do you guys just call out numbers or do we call on people? I don't know. 17. No. 49. No. 33. There you go. All right, Taylor, come get your book. Awesome sauce. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, can you go to the last slide, please? The next one. That one. Okay. So if you guys, thank you. So if you guys have any questions, my personal Instagram or like my other one is Christy Made Whole, and I do create nutrition content on there. That's what I do. And I do have a website which is nutritionforhydratedandnicefordeal.com. Full disclosure, I don't update it anymore because I'm like the HS Connect doesn't give me any time to do anything else. So, but we do have the Inflammation Nation support group. So please join that, and you can, I'm available for questions. And again, my Instagram is like a wealth of information there as well. And again, it doesn't have to be everything. It can be complementary to your treatment. Don't overthink it, and food should still be enjoyable. All right, love you guys. Bye. All right. Oh, Bryn? Yo. Closing remarks from the boss.
Wait, I want to say one thing. This is just for the virtual.
Okay.
For the virtual people, there has been, I hope that you're on the live right now, but there's been somebody named Gwen, and you have been on the live the whole entire time. You've been talking so much, you've been saying so much, and just giving all of your insight and hyping up everybody in the chat. I just want to give you a huge shout out for being and joining every single day. I did see that you were in PST time zone, so thank you for joining so early, Gwen. Thank you. And thank you to all of our AV people for helping put on the stream so that the streaming people can see all of this.
I can fix that. Okay, so we'll close out. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for being here, for taking time out of your lives to come experience this. I hope everybody who has never met someone else with HS felt the magic and the fairy dust that happens in community when you meet other people with HS. My hope is that everybody felt a little bit of that. And I came across this quote this morning, while I was scrolling in my downtime for 5 minutes, that really kind of hit for me. And it said, if you asked me about, the most beautiful part of my life, I wouldn't point to a place or a moment. I just look around at the people I get to love and say, this right here, this is it. And I hope that you guys take away that same feeling. And it's super important to me, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here and being part of this. So thank you all, and we'll see you at next year's Empower.